What's going on, everybody? It's yours truly, Mufasa Fashaw, coming to you live with another episode of Alphacology. All right. Um, I do my best to try to give you guys the best content every time, every single time. And these are topics that were given to me. So all my topics is something that the people want to hear. And I try to do my best to give you the most alpha perspective so you could be the most alpha version of yourself. Shout out to my alpha males out there. And I always say being an alpha male is hard, but being a beta male, that's a tough life. I understand that. So what I've been noticing lately, especially when we talk about social media and all those things, um, we get what I call new vocabulary, trending vocabulary, and words like toxic, toxic masculinity, toxic femininity, narcissism, and that's a real popular word when it comes to relationships and dealing with people, men or women. And everybody now the word is healing, so everybody's healing from some kind of trauma or some kind of things we go through in life. And I understand some people trauma bond, and some people, you know, I don't even want to say some people. A lot of people who are what we call in those toxic relationships or those bad relationships, and they continue to not elevate themselves. And I think one of the most beta male things you could do, right, is make an excuse for yourself. Oh, I had a bad childhood, or I had a bad breakup. So, with that being said, the question poses itself like this: um, Are we using toxic language, therapy language, right, to dodge accountability? And honestly, I think nowadays with all this emphasis on mental health, and it's not very clear, it's very broad, it's a lot of variables, it's too many, it's so much gray. I like to be a black and white type guy. I wish, okay, this is toxic, this is not toxic. Why is it toxic? Because you're a bad person, right? Or this, that, the third. And I was thinking to myself, like, dang, you know, I have dated a few young women in my life, and I've even did some life coaching with a couple men that had some bad characteristics. We'll call them toxic characteristics, right? And they always have an excuse, and it's around the same thing with mental health. And I think we use mental health as an excuse to be a bad person. Well, I got this trauma going on, or this happened to me as a kid. Not saying it doesn't count, but just because you know something's happened and you know the cause of the problem, you should try to change it. That's the biggest part about mental health. Once you know the truth, you have to change it. And sometimes I think it's pointless to go to therapy. Because what therapy does really, it helps you justify your bullshit. All right? That's my one curse word for YouTube. It helps you justify a lot of bull crap. I'm gonna say bull crap. And so I look at it like this. You really gotta talk to the people who understand you and see where you coming from. And sometimes a therapist can't do that. Sometimes it's your family member. Sometimes it's the person that hurt you like that, to have that uncomfortable conversation. We're dodging a lot of uncomfortable conversations where people just cut you out of their life because some so-called boundary. No, I understand where it's coming from. And when you push an issue, if somebody cuts you off or is willing to go a totally different direction from the conversation that's being had, honestly, fellas, you got to walk away from that person. Now you got to get your space because you're trying to have this conversation. And not saying you got to hate that person. Probably love them from a distance. Because some of these people who are toxic and use this therapy language to dodge accountability is somebody you got to deal with every day. It might be a baby mama. It might be your mama. It might be your uncle. It might be your brother, your sister, people you actually love. And that's what kills us. And hurt people hurt people. So we understand that. Since you understand that, this is what you have to do. You have to address the issue. Figure out where the issue is coming from. Can you fix the issue? Yes or no? Now, is it your fault that they're like that? Nah, it's probably not even your fault. But guess what? It's your decision on how to deal with that person. I always tell people, when people come to you and say, oh, I'm hurt, I'm traumatized, it's because my trauma, it's because of this, I have PTSD, you got to handle them with gloves on. Put your toxic gloves on. You got to treat that person toxic until they come to a realization like, okay, I'm healed or I'm healing. And, you know, people like to say, we're healing. Oh, well, I'm healing. I'm still healing. I'm still not over this. Well, I can't deal with you on a certain level if you're still healing. And I always tell you guys, if you're dating a young woman and it's not your job to fix her, you need the best available. You got to remember that when you're trying to be the most alpha version of yourself, you need the best available, because that young lady going to want the best available for you, right? From you. And when you get the best available, it's very hard to do, because check this out. If I ever sit here and say anything else about this topic, I really want people to get better, get the mental health they deserve. But I don't think people understand how important it is to be emotionally intelligent. I had plenty of arguments where it was, I feel. And I always tell anybody I'm dealing with, it's okay to feel like that. Feelings come, feelings go. Some days I'm happy, some days I'm sad. Never trust a woman that's too happy, that's happy all the time. Never trust a woman that's sad all the time, mad all the time. It got to be a balance. So emotions come and go. They're a good thing, but they shouldn't dominate your life. Just because I don't feel like finishing my grad school paperwork on today, don't mean I need to quit school. And I tell people that just because you don't feel like dealing with that person don't mean you got to break up with that person. That person probably did a lot for you. But just because you woke up the morning and you felt a certain way, and you think just because you're healing or, going to therapy is going to help anything, you can walk away from that person. And I tell people all the time, even with this podcast, I do not want you to become self-dependent. Well, I want you to be self-dependent. I don't want you to be dependent on my words, anybody else's podcast words, a therapist's words, none of that. I know plenty of people that go to therapy and still messed up, still doing people wrong. That don't mean anything. So we got to understand that. I do think the talk therapy is cool if you have a good therapist. A real therapist is not going to justify your bullshit. They're going to tell you, hey, you need to fix this. Or, hey, you need to talk to somebody. Or, hey, you need to figure out who's in your corner and how you can deal with that. And what I noticed, especially with men, a lot of hurt comes from people that we love and we trust. A lot of betrayal comes from that. It's called betrayal. That hurts the worst. Now, if you my enemy and you trying to mess me up or spread a rumor about me and you're my enemy, that's okay. I know you're a hater. I know you're hating on me. But when it comes from inside the house, inside the camp, now we have a problem. And it hurts you. And it makes you change who you are as a man. Change the way you move. And sometimes that's a good thing. We all need that little pain. I never want to talk to a man or be around men who never took a loss, who never had it all, lost it all. Give me the man who had it all, lost it all, and brung it back and got it back again. Don't give me the man who claimed they always had it all. I hate that, right? So also, don't give me the woman who always lost it all. If you with a woman and everybody always doing her wrong, and everybody always the bad guy, guess who's gonna be the bad guy next? You. Never see. If you believe me, I done dealt with those type of women. They have that victim mentality. Everybody did them wrong. Trust me when I say this, my brother, you're gonna be next. You gotta call it out. You gotta call out, well, what did you do? Well, how could you prevent this? If she did you so wrong, if she stole from you, if she lied on you, how could you prevent this? And you have to, it comes to a point, even in talk therapy, it's gonna come to a point where they're gonna ask you to do things. That's what matters the most, is the actions. You gotta watch people's actions. And then their excuses for their actions. I'll tell you this, it probably take about a week, maybe 2, if they're real good, to find out a person's true intentions. All right? Find out your true friends. Let me drop you a tidbit. Got this from my pops. When I was younger, right, it was a couple of guys I was hanging out with, and he was like, those boys ain't even your friends. I'm like, nah, they my friends. They'll fight. If I get in a fight, they'll come here. They look out for me. They invite me to this party. They invite me to that party. He was like, you want to know who your friends is? You say all these people your friends. Call them. Ask them if you could borrow $500. I said, $500? None of my friends. He said, ask them if you could borrow $50. Let's drop it down to 50. I called all 15 of my friends that day. By the end of the day, I only had 4 people that was ready to give me $50. And I told my dad, it was, yeah, she was going to give me $50. He was going to give me $50. Such and such was going to give me $50. He said, those are your friends. You only got 4 friends. Just like that. Fellas, you ever want to find out who your friends is, man, and you need to know real quick, that's the friend test. Now, I did have one friend that tell me this. He said, if you borrow money from me, we're not friends anymore. We are now business partners. Everything you do and you haven't paid me back, I'm going to look at you sideways. And guess what? I respected what he said because we men, right? So you have to come from a right place and understand who you are as a person, what you need, what kind of people you need around you. And sometimes we're going to have those people that what I call test our emotional intelligence, make us happy, make us sad, take us on that roller coaster. You don't have to have those people in your life, but you got to know how to deal with them. Because I feel like this no matter what, and I feel like it, that every person that comes in your life is either going to be a lesson or a blessing. Some of them going to be both. All right? So always understand that, man. That's something I really love talking about when it comes to that. When it comes to all this therapy talk, I just don't like the state that we're in. I think we are very, very emotionally weak. The men these days are very, very emotionally weak, like women. And they use their emotions as an excuse. You see the kids using emotions as an excuse. We always just want people to feel good, but we never work through people actually working through their emotions. We're not teaching nobody how to work through their emotions. And I think one of my most famous podcasts I ever did was how to get through a divorce emotionally. And guess what? It's kind of like rehab. It's gonna hurt. Pulling that knife out your heart and bleeding is gonna hurt. You're gonna lie down. You're gonna bleed a while, but you gotta get back up and fight some more. You're gonna heal. And I hate to say it, that mental emotional aspect of anything we do in life is very detrimental, especially at this age I'm at right now. Where you think you got everything figured out, and sometimes if you really been through that fire, you know it's not the end of the world. Now, when we're dealing with men or women, they might act like it's the end of the world, but that's where you help them get through their stuff emotionally. You just talk them through it like, hey, it's going to be better days. Let's take it one day at a time. Like me, we'll get with people, right? And I've been in that situation where you'll get hurt and you keep getting hurt. And the next thing you know, you're used to getting hurt. And the first thing a woman to tell you is, you're emotionally dead. Really, you're probably not even emotionally dead. You're just not falling for the bullshit. You understand? So now when it's like, oh, I don't think this is going to work out. This ain't for me. I'm like, okay, cool. Next. Oh, you're not even going to fight for us? You're not. Fellas, they going to do it every time. They just trying to check if you strong enough. I always remember that. A woman going to check. And that's what they're supposed to do. Nothing weeds out weak men faster than a woman. Letting y'all know now. You want me to you want me to find out if that man weak or not? Let's put a woman in front of him that he find attractive. Now, if you want to find out if he's emotionally weak, let's put a woman in front of him that he loves and care about and see how he reacts to her negative energy. And it's going to tell you everything you need to know. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but you guys can hit me up on Alphacology 1K. I always answer the DMs. You can hit me up. I'm still doing life coaching. And I'm always in the middle of stuff to do this thing. But guess what? I'm still here for you guys, man. I'm walking in my purpose. And a lot of these cats, what they don't understand, they're too busy making emotions their God when they should make God their God and follow his plan that he has for your life. And I don't think a lot of you guys even believe in God sometimes. And I could tell. That's why you're emotionally, spiritually, mentally, financially all over the goddamn place. And it's fun. I'm not going to lie. It's very entertaining to watch. It's very entertaining to watch. So peep this. Anytime you go on my podcast, you'll see that I never contradict myself. And I guess what? I'm not perfect. I made mistakes. You know, players mess up too. I made my mistakes, you know. But guess what? I'm still rolling. I'm still here. And I tell dudes all the time, oh, well, you did this and you all right. I said, yeah, I make it look easy, but it ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy being top dog. It ain't easy being an alpha male all the time. But guess what? It's a miserable life being a beta male. I'm telling y'all don't want to do that. So always remember that, man. This been another episode of Alphacology. And next time you guys hit me up, Alphacology 1K, right there on the Instagram. It's not T, it's protein. Peace out.